Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Li Wei-Tai. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the show, a memorial on the 20th anniversary of Los Angeles South Central riots serves to highlight the importance of tolerance and understanding in closing ethnic divides. Teachers and students of one school in central Taiwan came up with a good way to fight the hot weather by cutting their hair and donating it to the Cancer Foundation. And in our regular feature on Taiwan's traditional industry, we have the story of one disabled cobbler who is a master in repairing and making shoes. April 29th was the 20th anniversary of Los Angeles South Central riots, sparked by the unfair trial against 4 LA police officers who beat up black motorist Rodney King. The city saw widespread lootings and violence for 6 days. To remember the stark event and promote racial harmony, Korean Churches for Community Development organized a memorial. Religious and community leaders and NGOs were invited, including the Tzu Chi Foundation.
I was fearful. I mean, martial law had been established, and it was, to me, kill.
On April 29, 1992, sparked by an unjust ruling, large-scale riots broke out in Los Angeles, leading to ethnic conflicts.
And then it got to a point where the news said it wasn't safe, and there were a lot of gunfires going around us.
At the end of the 6-day riots, more than 50 people died and over 2,000 seriously injured. More than 3,600 buildings were torched and over 2,000 shops were looted. Stores owned by Korean immigrants were widely targeted. To commemorate the tragedy's 20th anniversary, Korean Churches for Community Development organized a memorial to promote racial harmony. At the former Grand Olympic Auditorium, an all-African American gospel choir sang the theme song of 1988 Seoul Olympics, Hand in Hand, in Korean as a sign of solidarity.
It's no longer a place where they box or wrestle or skate. It's a place where people come to pray. And it's fitting that we're here because so much of
Los Angeles is home to people from some 140 countries. More than 200 kinds of languages are spoken here. Attaining racial harmony is a challenging task, and thus community leaders and NGOs were all invited to share their insights at the event.
I think there has to be a better understanding of all the different ethnic groups and communities and not have these kind of same misunderstandings of how people disrespect or mistreat.
We should go into communities to find out where our help is needed and not be afraid to reach out with a helping hand.
The 1992 riots may be hard to forget, but they also inadvertently prompted the city's residents to find a way to live together.
Moving to the Philippines, on April 13th, the cities of Pasay and Manila both experienced fires that displaced 96 households. Thankfully, there were no casualties. After the disaster, city volunteers quickly mobilized the relief distribution, bringing supplies and emotional comfort to the victims.
Here in Pasay City, a suspected electrical fire destroyed more than 60 buildings, leaving victims with basically nothing. Luckily, everyone escaped safely.
We didn't want to go back in again. We're just grateful that everyone is safe, especially our children.
70% of the fire survivors are poor and lived in rented houses. Now, without any possessions, they can only stay at an elementary school. To aid the victims, volunteers arrive with daily necessities and rice, along with emotional support.
Our house was completely burned and we had to save our lives first.
When we help someone sincerely, the receiver will know it, and this is a feeling I got from Tzu Chi.
Elsewhere in Pasay City, the town of Villanueva also suffered from a fire, leaving 36 families homeless. Along with providing fire survivors with supplies, the volunteers also encouraged them to donate to their bamboo banks, thus spreading their love to others in need. The fire-loved Luisa was serious injury on her right hand while she was trying to save her relatives' belongings. She is very grateful for Tzu Ji's support. In the past, Tzu Ji also helped her get dentures.
I'm very grateful for Tzu Ji for supporting me in my time of need.
The two Tzu Ji aid distributions have helped a total of 96 households, giving them the strength to move on.
Tzu Ji volunteers who must always be on standby to help regularly attend workshops to better their understanding of service work. One such seminar was recently held in Johannesburg, South Africa, for more than 100 participants, some of whom came all the way from Zimbabwe and Lesotho.
About 100 volunteers joined together in the Johannesburg Tzu Ji office for a seminar to learn more about the Buddhist charity from Taiwan. There is no distance between Taiwan and South Africa via a live video link. In their pursuit of the Dharma, volunteers from Zimbabwe had to travel 1,500 kilometers in over 20 hours to join the seminar.
Another bus was also headed for Johannesburg from a different location, but broke down on the way, so all passengers had to cram themselves into one bus to get here. There were 98 people on that bus.
These two native volunteers worked with Tzu Ji for many years. This is their first volunteer seminar where they learned to practice Buddhist etiquette.
What I'm interested of Tzu Ji Foundation, you teach love. How to love a person, how to approach a person, which is very, very important to mankind.
I'm helping my people when I'm sitting down, so I should also stand up and help him do Tzu Ji work, helping my own people.
This is a rare reunion of Tzu Ji volunteers from Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and South Africa. This is the first major event since the grand opening of the new Johannesburg office. Skin colors and religious divides all melt into one like the sticky rice dumplings.
May we be blessed with harmony.
Eating sweets brings peace and fortune. It would be even better if we could unite the four virtues together.
The big family now has a shared hope and goal.
Be a Tzu Ji volunteer, speak the Tzu Ji language, join in Tzu Ji's cause and propagate its ideals.
Like Master Zhen Yan says, even though my strength is as weak as an ant, I will devote myself to Tzu Ji's charity work.
The volunteers are committed to this continent with love and devotion. They will do what they can to help people in Africa.
Next, we meet another volunteer whose life was also enlightened through joining Tzu Ji. Lai Shui-Shu from Taichung, Taiwan, retired at an early age of 42 and lived a life of luxury. However, after both his parents passed away and seeing for himself the selfless spirit of Tzu Ji's work, Lai was inspired and joined volunteers' ranks.
This light is made of crystal, and this fossil is about 200 to 300 years old. This is for bringing in good fortune, because I used to think about making money every day.
Lai Shui-Shu retired at 42 years of age and began living a life of luxury.
I play golf and mahjong all the time. That's how I lived my life.
It was not until Lai's parents passed away when he was 60 and Tzu Chi volunteers came to offer emotional support that Lai became inspired to live life in a different way.
There was a line in the Water Repentance Sutra that deeply moved me, so I decided to get rid of my habit of playing golf and mahjong, as well as overeating and drinking.
At home, Lai no longer switches on his crystal lights, nor turns on his aircon or heater. He even packed away his favorite golf equipment.
For the past 20 years, to be honest, it was absurd. I only cared about myself. Not that I didn't care about my family, but it didn't matter how others were doing. Thinking about it now, I was really selfish.
The change not only brought Lai Shui-shu one step closer with his family, but he has also saved over $1 million a year, which he donates to help those in need.
Spending that money was such a waste, and I wonder why I didn't use that money to help others. And I have lived that way for over 20 years.
Today, Lai's living room is where Tzu Chi volunteers gather for study sessions.
And
he also invites his fellow volunteers to his fruit yard to enjoy his harvest. Lai Shui-shu says his life only began after he turned 60, and that he should only eat 20% full and leave the remaining 80% to help those in need to make up for his past lifestyle.
In the last part of our child development series, One Step Ahead, today we go endoscopic to unlock the developmental issues of the fetal stage. According to experts, the mood of and the kind of nutrients consumed by pregnant women have a direct impact on fetal development. Even the sound frequency of the parents' voices will be etched in prenatal memory. In the next report, we find out how to give a child a good head start as early as from the fetal stage.
那个手，我要看他手举起来了。他说我在这里啊，哦，很嗨哦。
As of waving hello through the ultrasound scan, the 3-month-old fetus is flexing his tiny limbs, squirming about in the safety of his mother's womb.
你看这环，你看这个，他现在是13周，你看这个脑部已经有那个发育出来了，有没有看到这个像一个？ 蝴蝶，这个像一只蝴蝶，有没有？
怀孕的2到4个月的时候，
Between the 2nd and 4th month of pregnancy, the number of brain cells of the fetus grows rapidly, including neuron and neuroglial cells. The cells will migrate and divide between the 3rd and 5th month. After 6 months, the neuron, which starts with a cell body, will develop dendrites and axons.
The fertilized egg transforms into an embryo, which undergoes neurulation before its brain develops. When the fetus is 5 months old, dendrites and axons grow to form the neural network, marking the beginning of an unborn baby's ability to process information. The brain continues to grow rapidly in size, and right before birth, the surface of the cerebral cortex becomes folded.
The folds of the cerebral cortex create grooves and bumps that allow neurons and other relevant tissue to be closely linked to one another. Therefore, the development of these folds closely affects the intelligence of an individual. Inside the womb is a living being that is able to perceive the emotions and pressure his mom is experiencing, as well as sounds and light.
Submerged in amniotic fluid, the fetus cannot hear every word and sound, but sound frequency forms part of the prenatal memory.
The beauty of the language will be communicated to the fetus in the form of sound frequency that will stay with the unborn child. The frequency of the parent's voice will be familiar to the fetus, and after birth, these same voices will help calm the baby down.
Parents are advised to make a habit of speaking to the unborn child, and mothers in particular should be exposed to 15 minutes of soothing music twice a day. The music doesn't have to be classical, it just should not be too noisy.
I have an actual example. When the baby's older sister played a piece of tune that he often heard when he was still inside his mother's womb, he went very quiet and listened. It's a great example of how babies are capable of remembering music and tunes.
Although music is prescribed to expectant mothers, it's not entirely targeted at the unborn child, but also to help keep the mother in a good mood for her and the fetus's benefit.
It is best for pregnant women to regulate their emotions and maintain a good mood. Stress or anxiety causes the increase of adrenaline in expecting mothers, resulting in the reduction of blood flow to the placenta and in turn cut back oxygen and nutrients for the fetus, which is bad for its growth.
As the fetus is directly connected to its mother via the umbilical cord, it relies entirely on her for nutrients. What it hears, how it feels, and even its endocrine level is largely affected by its mother.
Brain development is extremely important at the fetal stage. During pregnancy, avoid taking medication unnecessarily and stay away from smoking. Child education begins at pregnancy. Expecting mothers should top up on nutrients, sleep well, and maintain a good mood. Satisfying these factors will aid the fetus' brain development and ensure a more wholesome character.
The moment you conceive is the beginning of a very different lifestyle. You go through morning sickness and mood swings, but ultimately your own wish is for the child to be safe and healthy.
For every newborn, the life ahead is a tough marathon of learning and development. So, to give them a head start, there's nothing better than the infinite love, guidance, and support of a well-informed parent. Summer is near in Taiwan, so recently teachers and students from an industrial vocational high school in Changhua donated their hair to help cancer patients.
Showing their beautiful hair in front of the camera, teachers and students from National Yuanling Chongshi Industrial Vocational High School are donating their hair to cancer patients.
My husband works at the hospital and I had been to the hospice before. I don't know how to help the cancer patients, so I thought donating my hair would be a good way. It's worth it.
At first, the students couldn't let go of their long hair. However, after thinking about it, they happily went through with it, since it is easier to maintain short hair.
Before, I would take a lot of time to care for my hair. Now, with short hair, I can spend more time studying.
The push behind the event is student Liao Guiyun. It has been her dream to donate her hair to aid cancer patients. To encourage more people to help, Guiyun's mother, a nurse at Chongshi High School, spreads the message in her school.
The cancer patients are sick and have no hair, so I want to donate my hair to help them because I can still grow mine again.
My daughter always thought about donating her hair, so I told our principal about it and she decided to hold this event.
Through help from her mother, Liao's good wishes have turned into action. While the love from students and teachers has given their donated hair a deep value.
Next, we move to DaAi for our continuing series on Taiwan's sunset industries. We meet Li Muhai, who has been a cobbler for over 40 years. In addition to repairing shoes, deaf-mute Mr. Li also makes shoes to order. He has his own shop named the Silent Shoe Emporium in reference to his disability. Let's take a look at his story. Leveling out the sole with a shoe buffering machine and then polishing the leather with shoe polish. In no time, this pair of old boots looks brand new. 62-year-old Li Muhai has been a cobbler for over 40 years, and despite being a deaf-mute, he has managed to get the word out about the quality of his work. Recently, Li, with the help of local social workers, opened his own shop, which he calls the Silent Shoe Emporium.
They were broken, but my boss wanted them fixed.
He does a first-class job. It's true, he's got the skills. There's no reason to throw out good shoes. By spending a little money, they can be as good as new.
We saw that he had a lot of equipment and realized that he wasn't just a shoe repairman sitting in the corner of the market.
In addition to being a master at the art of repairing shoes, Li Muhai also makes shoes to order. Customers pick out a style and material, and then Li gets to work.
OK， 可以哈，马上做哦。好，现在开始。
Measuring out the size and the shape of a customer's foot is the first step in making a pair of shoes. Li's specialty is in sandals and slippers for both men and women. Although Li never formally took classes, he has a passion for shoemaking, and whenever he has a new idea, he will quickly make a paper model to test it out.
He will work out a shape, and then if it works, he will then go ahead and start on it.
For Li, creating different shapes and types of footwear is not only his expertise, but his joy.
All of those shoes were made by myself. I worked hard to make them. It was not an easy process.
One pair is only 800 NT. I brought a pair because I wanted to help him out.
Li was raised by foster parents, but dropped out of school in his first year of elementary school, after which he ran away from home. Not yet 10 years old, he would spend his time on the street watching as cobblers fixed shoes. Inspired, he decided to do the same.
I started to do it myself. I studied and thought about how to go about it. I learned by looking at others.
20 years ago, Li met a shoemaker who, like him, was also a deaf-mute. It was his master that taught Li the skill of shoemaking. Li later tried to put his skills to work, but not knowing sign language and being illiterate, Li was unable to communicate with potential customers, and his stand had little business.
Before I was in Tainan's Yujin district, I would just sit there, not sure what I was waiting for. So every day I would end up closing up around lunch.
Last year, however, with the help of local social workers, Li was able to slowly bridge the communication gap.
Last year, I sold around 18 pairs of men's shoes.
Social workers helped Li photograph the various styles of shoes he can make. Also on the wall is a sign that shows when the shoes will be ready. Li is still in the process of mastering sign language, but with his high-quality shoes and growing reputation, Li's place in the world is anything but silent. Students at Zhudong Elementary School in Taiwan Hsinchu served tea to their parents in a formal yet heartwarming ceremony to express their love and gratitude. That's the end of our show. For today, goodbye.